Dallas ISD Superintendent Mike Miles could find out soon whether the board will punish him for violating his contract. And things got off to kind of a tense start with one trustee calling for a vote to fire him. Fox 4's Natalie Solis is at DISD headquarters. All right, Natalie, you've been there all night. Talk about the vote. How's everything going?
All right. Well, they're now in closed session, but as far as the vote goes, 3 trustees did support that motion to terminate Mike Miles' contract, but the motion failed because 5 trustees think that he should be allowed to keep his job. Now, the board, as I mentioned, is in closed session talking possible punishment. We're not privy to that discussion, but we understand they will return to the horseshoe, and it's then that we may learn if they decide to reprimand Superintendent Mike Miles. Now, Miles was front and center as trustees went around the horseshoe discussing his future. Some, like Carla Ranger, who sits directly to his left, and Bernadette Nuttall, repeatedly made emphatic appeals for his termination. Now, Miles was cleared of bid rigging and bullying in an internal investigation, but it did find that he violated policy by tampering with a potential witness in an earlier investigation and attempted to publicly humiliate trustees.
The superintendent has substantially impaired or diminished his effectiveness in the district. He has substantially impaired and diminished his effectiveness in the community. And the board needs to take the appropriate action.
But do they rise to the level of termination? I don't think so, and I will be voting against this motion.
Trustees Lou Blackburn and Bernadette Nuttall joined Carla Ranger in supporting termination, but again, 5 trustees voted against that. They are now considering what sanctions to take, if any. Now, one option could be a reprimand. Another option, put him on a growth plan. They could even decide to change his contract, making it harder for him to get an extension, even if he does meet certain milestones. Now, it's unclear at this point just how much will be made public when the board does decide to return to open session. Now, if they do decide to reprimand Miles, they will eventually have to vote, but that will have to be posted, and that will have to most likely take place at another meeting. So hopefully sometime between now and then we'll have a good idea of what this possible punishment might be. Heather?
You know, Natalie, it's kind of weird, too, to see Carla Ranger talking, and Mike Miles is just right there hearing what she's saying, listening to all that. All right, so he is in line for an evaluation. Where does all that stand?
Right. Well, and as you were just alluding to, yeah, very tense at times. Right. It is going to be a very, very long night for trustees. So they are supposed to take on tonight as well his evaluation, which had been postponed several times, and they're going to do that after they discuss this possible punishment. And one of the things that's interesting in all of this is depending on the academic gains that have been made in this district while Mike Miles has been at the helm, depending on that and how it factors into his evaluation, he could actually, in theory, still be eligible for a bonus if he meets certain milestones while at the same time being reprimanded. So it'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. Heather?
Yeah, that'll be a whole nother discussion, I'm sure. All right, Natalie Solis live for us tonight. Thanks, Natalie.